Shit,
Just gonna show up as a nautical West Country mariner.
You know, just like 1 out of every 300 times this screen loads, I wish it wasn't the journal, but like a Mad magazine.
Okay, so it does actually alternate between the journal and Crimes and Punishments. Or Crime and Punishment.
Really? Okay, that's
yeah.
cool.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing.
I'm not saying another word.
Okay, so I assume at this point we gotta do a deduction thing to open stuff up.
Oh, it's too bad we did take off the nautical disguise.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a sailor. Perhaps you'd like to tell me about who you might have been murdering this weekend, and then we could go arm wrestle.
Pouch proves visit.
I don't think that's enough to prove that he's the murderer. So if I do this, does it just like not go anywhere?
Yeah, it's optional. But so like this series of events presents like a few possibilities.
I'm not convinced Hurtley is innocent, but I don't feel like.
Well, you don't. Again, you're not committing when you choose these. It's just like this is what you believe right now.
Well, that didn't do anything. So, well, let's assume Pouch proves guilt and see where that leads us here. Nowhere apparently. So we do that. Things turned red.
That means that they are. So you basically said that you think 2 people are guilty at once, and it's like, yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. Dumb shit.
Now let's go back to innocence and. Does that lead us to anything?
Not really.
No, okay.
What's our time for the episodes?
You know what? The thing blew up, so I'm not totally sure. I think we've got 10 more minutes.
Cool. Well, we may finish. I don't know. I would just keep plugging along.
I'm not sure where to go with this. Like,
do you have any tasks in your journal?
No, none that I can act on at the moment. Investigate the murder of Peter Carey, and John Nelligan seems not to be a usual thief.
Can you talk to John Nelligan?
We've got find a use for the Canadian Pacific Railway bond certificate. But I haven't found anyone I can show that to.
You might be able to look it up in your archives.
How was the investigation going, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, I think you did it. What? Just make sure you're paying attention. Seriously though, I could convince you did the murder. Don't think I couldn't. I just choose not to.
Is there anything else in the clues that we need to look at? No.
My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
Well,
this is where I keep my
thing. No, I don't want to open
my archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
You met Patrick Cairns, the harpooner. Do you believe he's the murderer?
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Well...
Have you have you connected all the clues you have?
I mean, these are mutually exclusive, or not mutually exclusive, but they don't seem to tie into each other.
Okay, let me see what we missed here.
We could switch this back to harmless flirting and Hurley's innocence, and then Pouch.
Are you sure you questioned Nelligan about the bond certificate?
I'm not allowed, like, he won't let me talk to him. He just says, I'm not supposed to be here. I mean, that makes sense, but, like, he won't come out for questioning. It's weird. Let's
Trying to see what we're missing here. It's also nice that during these loading screens they let you do your deductions and stuff. So I would usually use this time to like catch up on all that.
There wasn't like anything else in the evidence room that I missed or something.
These are the suspects' belongings.
Oh, okay. I think I'm supposed to compare the... Yeah. That was not obvious. CPR.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Now we have something. All right.
Okay, so here we come to the crux of the game. Well, once you decide on a suspect, you come to the crux of the game.
So I think this needs to be lucky throw for Nelligan to be...
No. Oh, but yes, it needs to be lucky throw for Nelligan to be your conclusion.
So can we be wrong here?
Yes.
I assume
should
you
probably
know
go
the
talk to
answer,
him.
too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got this right.
Should we go talk to him?
I don't feel like
I think maybe we can.
lucky throw makes a lot of sense here. And Nelligan doesn't seem like... If Nelligan found out that his dad was murdered by Patrick Carey, or Peter Carey, or whoever, whoever that person is that was murdered that we're investigating the aftermath of, you know, that would give him a proper, you know, motivation. I don't know. But it says like, oh, he was caught stealing the bond certificates. I don't see him as a dude who would, when caught stealing, pick up a harpoon and impale a guy to a wall.
Just Mortal Kombat
So,
the lucky throw.
yeah, like fucking. So let's say feat of strength, and that cancels out Nelligan there. Okay, so.
What did you do to make the carry option disappear?
What carry option?
Sorry, what did you do to make the Karen's option disappear? That was the first one you had.
Pouch proves guilt.
Yeah, if Pouch proves guilt, which is pretty significant, then... Oh, why are these... Why are these mutually exclusive?
It's in Nelligan's motive is selected for some reason.
But I can't unselect it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how that happened.
Is it saying it can't possibly be Karen's? Like, is that what it's trying to tell me?
No, I don't think so. Maybe you need to talk to Nelligan and get like another option
maybe.
Here. Yeah. I think this is saying like you need to resolve that plot point before you can continue with like pursuing another suspect.
Please escort.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
Bond certificate, right?
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belong to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
I'm not saying another...
Alright, I believe
Alright,
at this
so
point you
that
have all
leaves
the
us-
evidence.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
So what do you think?
I remember a detail with the notebook, being that
What's
it
that?
looked like it had been dropped onto the floor after the blood was already there, not on the floor when the blood was spilled, which suggests that he came after the murder had taken place. Additionally, I don't feel like any of the other clues have been pointing me in the direction of like, oh yeah, he could totally fucking Mortal Kombat Peter Carey to a wall. So let's say that. And then the question comes down to Karen's pouch was at the house. It was in the room. Beyond that, he doesn't seem to have liked Peter Carey very much, so it seems unlikely that they would have gone and reminisced and caught up about stuff. I don't feel like there was enough information to say that Hurtley was... What did he say when we asked him about that?
You can always look it up.
He doesn't want to indicate that he's been to Woodman's Lee. But that could just be because he was afraid of people coming after him for the affair. He had a reason to be there. He was the gardener.
Except...
The box was on the shelf. Let me go back to the thing, the crime scene here.
3 hours in and we're actually doing the detective work now.
Well, I don't want to look dumb and get it wrong.
Just Google it.
Just like Sid.
No, convince
Watson
Retzgar to tell me what it is now.
Like, just have Watson hanged immediately, and they're like, wait a minute, the box? Should I go back? Nah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Can't unhang Watson. That's what my mom always used to say.
Accused twice, hang once. What are we doing?
I'm looking at the letter that Hurtley left. Well, the thing I'm thinking about... Like, the box was on the shelf, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he took it after murdering him. And she asked him to hide the letters. No, she wanted them back. That does seem to be, like, enough of... Like, the problem I have... Karen's looks guilty, right? The problem I have with it is that, like, he just shows up at the very end of the case, and he's just some dude in the background. We haven't even arrested him. So, like, he's got very little, like...
He has no motive. No real motive.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't like the guy, but there's literally been no motive associated with it, whereas Nelligan and Hartley have motives that could theoretically cause them to murder someone.
And he doesn't seem to have known about the money or anything. He knows
Plus
the guy
the
was a
pouch-
murderer, but, like, it's been 20 years or something. Like, who cares?
Also, the pouch doesn't prove guilt; it proves visit. There's there's no evidence.
All right. I'm leaning towards Hurtley at this point.
Well, would you like me to confirm or deny?
Should we not just go for it and see what happens?
Do we have to replay the whole chapter if we get it wrong?
You don't have to. In fact, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure it tells you if you got it wrong or right. I think you need to actually like.
Get it wrong.
You can get it wrong. But what I'm saying is, like, I think the game just continues, and Sherlock's like, well, I probably got that one right. Because here's the thing. I never used this option, but during the game, after each case, like, you can visit, like, them, and you actually have to press a button to see whether you got it right or not. And it's like spoilers. Otherwise, you don't find out until the end of the game how many of them you got correct. I got all of them right. So that's the other thing. Hurtley's guilty depends on lucky throw.
Yeah. I figured he seems big enough. He could probably hoist a spear, you know, you throw a harpoon and stuff. I figured that wouldn't fall under lucky throw, but I want to look at the documents one more time here.
She's just quietly sobbing there while you're contemplating whether you're going to send her lover to jail.
Is it your boyfriend or this random whaler? Whaler.
You know, I could be persuaded to send a random whaler to jail. He's kind of an idiot for a little bit of coin.
What do you think, Chris? I'm still going back and forth on this. I don't think there's enough. Like the big issue is that lucky throw thing. Like
my problem with Karen is that there's no motive, even though we know he was there. But it does prove that he was there. Do we know why he was there?
I don't know. I don't think that's ever shown up. And it's possible that, you know, he's aware of...
So he witnessed the murder take place.
He did? Do we know that?
No, he witnessed the murder of the...
He witnessed the murder of Joshua
Nelligan.
Yeah. The thing is, nothing here, like, all of these were shown to be the most obvious answer. Like, feat of strength, we pretty conclusively proved that, right? The pouch,
well,
he confirmed it was his pouch.
Then there's only one answer, and it's Karen's.
I feel like all the investigative answers have led us this direction. Like the Hurtley stuff, like he's sketchy, but like it doesn't seem like he was that passionate about all of it. And he seemed to be complying sort of with what she said, except that he went and hid the letters instead of giving them back to her. So I don't know.
Well, what would Sherlock Holmes conclude?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's right. You didn't read the story.
He would conclude the right way.
That a fisher on the river circled back and hit a harpoon that impaled Peter Carey.
It was a boomerang.
The reality is that someone stole some valuable papers. The guy didn't like him. He clearly was a victim of a feat of strength, not a random throw. I think we can all agree to that. And first of all, feat of strength only ties to one person, and that's Karen's. And then pouch doesn't prove guilt, but it does prove he was there. So I would go with Karen's, but I don't. Well, if you get rid of that, then we got nothing.
I was just looking at whether that would get rid of it or not.
I guess one question that's relevant is, who do you think is most likely to have stolen the bonds?
The bonds weren't stolen.
The papers are missing.
And those bonds are worth money, and this guy's an unemployed fisherman.
Oh yeah, that's a good. So I thought that was the box that was hidden in but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's right. Right. So I thought that I was thinking the opening here on the shelf where the box was. I thought that was the box that we found in the other shed, and then for some reason, like Peter Carey had the proof that his wife was having an affair, but that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Okay, Nelligan wouldn't be trying to break into the house if he already had the letters. And I mean, he did try to break in to get his notebook, I guess maybe, but like there wouldn't have been a lot pointing to that notebook, attaching him to it anyway. I think it's Karen. I'm pretty confident with that conclusion.
Well, now you have to decide. Now you have the real decision. Do you condemn Cairns or absolve him?
So, I feel like that's for the courts to decide. I don't think Sherlock
Holmes...
Holmes...
No, it's not, because you're Sherlock Holmes, motherfucker. You decide whatever you want. You're not the cops. You don't technically report to the cops. You can do whatever you want with your investigations. You could turn him over and they'll hang him. Or you could be like, hey, I know you did it, but it's fine, just skip town.
So is this a right or a wrong?
No, this is just a moral choice.
Here, or is this just like how you feel morally?
Yeah.
Well, Peter Carey was by all accounts a giant asshole, and he murdered Neeligan's father. So, on the whole, I'm not sure I really care that much. On the other hand, he did murder someone, but you know, it could have been. It could have been self-defense. You know, he draws the knife and he grabs the...
He was breaking in.
No, there was a knife. No, there was a knife. Like, Peter Carey had a knife with him.
Is in his own house, and the dude broke in. Right?
Was there evidence that he broke in? No, it was like there were break-in attempts afterwards.
But
that was Neeligan trying to get in after the murder.
Yeah, and this is important. He killed him with a harpoon that was off the wall, so he didn't like bring a weapon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I vote absolve.
I absolved him. That was my choice. I think I actually... okay, well, we can talk about that later, but...
I would be worried also that I would need to report to the police, because what are you going to say? Like, oh, I couldn't find an answer to this? No one's guilty? You gotta
you're Sherlock Holmes, dude. You can spin a yarn.
You know, Sherlock Holmes, he always whenever you pick absolve and like you spare the killer, Holmes always has some way to like mislead the cops or like blame it on somebody who's already dead or something.
Peter Carey killed himself with his own harpoon.
Yep.
And a knife.
Worst case of suicide I've ever seen.
Alright, let's go with absolve here.
He was murdered by a whale. It was revenge. It was a reverse Moby Dick situation.
The outsider showed up in whale form and threw a harpoon at him.
The key to the case was when I discovered a ton of ambergris in a ditch. Alright, get your QT.
So this was
ready.
the correct...
address. I'd like to speak with a ship's captain.
It was, in fact, the correct
Captain
answer.
Ahab. Is that you?
Okay.
No, my name is Sherlock Holmes.
That detective fella? So, you wanted to see me?
That is correct. We need to talk.
About
Hey,
what?
I know you killed someone.
About Black Peter, who was killed in his own hut with a
But what is going on with the background?
You know, don't you?
Lovecraftian
Yes.
visions.
How?
The tobacco pouch. You recognized it.
The sailor. It was
Yeah,
you.
who could have predicted that
Unbelievable.
this guy was not a real
Well,
sailor?
fine. I confess.
I'm putting you
But
under
if
arrest
you
for
really do know
murder.
everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I know. Did you know about this story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Yeah. I just wanted him to cough up a little silver.
Oh, you may actually only need to do
I'm
the
out of
QTE
work,
if you
and I thought
condemn him.
maybe he could help me. Well, he refused.
I think if you condemn him,
and
he tries to
insulted
fight
me.
you.
I reminded him I knew all about that murder he committed at sea in 1883. Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely just had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything as long as you return the money.
Well,
So this is what
I'll
I
do
mean
as you
by
ask.
when I say that the game gets into
But
some of the
expect
interesting
less drug.
characterization elements of Sherlock
I will
Holmes,
deal with him.
and kind of
Goodbye.
it engages increasingly as the game progresses with the idea that Sherlock Holmes
It's good
is
that you
not
asked me
the
to come,
police.
Mr. Holmes. We do need
That
to
he
talk.
it does not
About what?
represent
What do you
the
mean?
legal
Our case,
system as it
Mr.
is practiced in Victorian
You sent me a
England,
message
and examines the
via your
interesting
little
contradictions between an
His
empathetic
name
Sherlock
is
Holmes
Wiggins, Inspector.
and the laws
Telling
it
me
is
that the case is
practiced.
solved. Well, Mr.
And
Holmes,
gradually a
tell
portrait
me,
starts
who
to
is our
develop of
murderer and where is
who
The
the
morgue.
law would punish
he? Eh?
and who the law
His
does
name
not
is,
punish,
or
and who
rather
Sherlock
was,
Holmes would punish,
Pablo
and who he would
Covenflow.
not punish.
He was also on the ship with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector,
See,
but
we
do
give him the
calm
dodge.
down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and orange cake.
Orange cake?
You may remember that Coventrow
Spoiling
is
me,
the
Mr.
dead
Holmes.
the
That's
dead
my
whaler.
favourite.
Right, yes. I like that
Well, what
Lestrade
do we
is
do
like
with it,
Ah,
Deadwood?
Mr. Holmes.
sort of mildly
Inspector Lestrade told me
incompetent.
that I should thank you for clearing my name.
Hey,
He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could.
This is cool. I like that.
cannot thank you
Like, yeah,
enough.
I understand
It's all
what you were
because of
talking
you
about
that
with this
this
game
nightmare
now.
is finally over.
I believe that this belongs
The
to
mini
you.
games are dumb,
My father's security.
but fortunately you can skip them, so I guess I can't really hold it
How did you
against
get
them.
them?
Some of them are dumb.
It would
Yeah, and I
take
don't want to
far too
spoil it,
long to
but
explain.
this game really
me,
brings
this
these
is
themes
extraordinary.
together
You are a
for the
genius.
ending.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.
Hold to
So
check
you can
your
hold spacebar
conclusion.
to check your conclusion, yeah.
May spoil the game experience. Am I supposed to not know until the end?
Yeah, because that's the thing, is it wants you to put yourself in the shoes of Sherlock Holmes, who is judge, jury, and executioner. Whoever he points the finger at gets hanged.
Right. But like, does this all like come back into like one super case at the end? Is that the idea?
No, it doesn't. No, as far as I know, it has no bearing on anything after this
Okay.
case.
Well, we did it right, and with maybe a little bit of extra hints from Rutskarn, although not necessarily out of character of what he would say if he hadn't done this ahead of time.
It doesn't tell us if our moral choice is right.
Sympathizing. People solved it. Oh, interesting. It's got
So
a
80%
Walking
of people
Dead
figured
kind
out
of
it was
thing
Carrie, and
going.
most people decided to spare him. This is actually one of the games where I find this kind of data
That's
the most
neat.
interesting. Because,
Versus,
like,
Right, so
yeah, versus,
you
like,
gave the
Walking
random
Dead, where they're
person the
like,
chocolate.
yeah, the goal is to get them to be 50%. Well, this is like, well, maybe it's not going to be 50%, but let's kind of see where society's attitudes lie.
yeah. All right, well, I'm not. I'm gonna hit continue here. I'm not. We might need to record this for next session if there's a cutscene or something.
I recommend.
I guess we
just,
can kind of get
Alt-
started
yeah.
on the next case.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I don't know,
Alt
maybe just skip
F4.
through the
Yeah, that's
opening
probably a
cutscene.
good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back next week with the Riddle on the Rails. You can find gameplay or interface instructions by pressing F1.
Voldemort's Subway.